Hi everyone, welcome to the Ever-Seeking Empath. I'm a reader who uses tarot, oracle, and charms, and today's reading is your summer love predictions. So if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, this is covering the next few months, June, July, August, I guess kind of part of September as well. And if you live in the Southern Hemisphere, I'm trying to cover the next few months, but if you see this like in 6 months and it resonates for you, that's fine. You know, these are fairly timeless. I'm just intending them to be for the time period that I announce. So, but I feel like messages are fairly timeless, that if you see them at a particular time, it might be coming to you when you need to hear that message. So, kind of going off of that, this is a general reading, so the messages might not resonate for everybody, so just take the messages you feel are meant for you and disregard the rest. Also, if you don't mind, if you enjoy this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so, because it really does help out the channel a lot, and then you get to see when I've posted new content right away. And thank you so much to those of you who have already subscribed. I truly appreciate it so much. So, we have 3 piles here today as per usual. We are using the Field Guide to Garden Dragons for your place markers here for your piles. So pile 1 is Turnip Dragon Resilience. Pile 2 is Coffee Dragon Energy. And pile 3 is Strawberry Dragon Celebration. So just let your intuition guide you to a pile here. I am going to put the timestamps for the piles in the description box and in the comments below. And we are going to get started now with pile number 1. Hi Group 1. So if you chose the Turnip Dragon, which says Resilience, then this is your message. So we are going to start with your tarot and your oracle cards and then do your charms at the end. So stay tuned for that. So let's figure out what your summer love predictions are. For your tarot, you have the Ten of Swords, the Tower, and the Knight of Wands. Wow, okay, so you've got some major endings here, some major kind of unexpected energy. You've got the Tower, which is often something that feels very disastrous. I don't think it's always something that is a particular disaster, but it's something that feels like just your entire world gets shaken up when the Tower comes. And with the Ten of Swords, that's just, you know, a sudden, not sudden, but like an ending, like a solid ending. Something that you can't really renew as well, but there is renewal coming because we have the sun like rising up in the background. So I do feel like some of you are either ending something currently, or you're going to be soon ending something, or you've recently ended something, but I feel like you've had a pretty painful ending, maybe heartbreak, betrayal, just something that shook up your world. You know, it just feels like everything is getting kind of topsy-turvy and you don't really know where to go from here. But then with the Knight of Wands, that to me is somebody new coming in, because it's a court card and we're asking what your summer love predictions are. So I'm seeing that somebody is seeing you being like heartbroken and having a hard time, and they're ready to kind of come in and sweep you off your feet. So the Knight of Wands is somebody very passionate, very driven, but often kind of flighty. So I feel like you might have someone where you can have more of a casual hookup situation, or like a friend with benefits. This might not be a more permanent situation, but I do feel like there's somebody who's very attracted to you, is going to come in hot and try to start something with you. And that might even be the Tower situation. Maybe you've ended something and you're not expecting somebody new to come in because you don't feel ready for it. So that might vary for a few people, but I want to get your oracle cards for some more information. So you have Take a Chance on Love. When we love, our lives are changed forever. Number 23. So yeah, like I feel like a lot of you, maybe this is unexpected and you're really not wanting to even enter into a love situation. I feel like you've been through the ringer when it comes to relationships, and like you can even see how they're kind of coming out of this tumultuous water and they're moving towards this like rainbow sunny portal or whatever it is. So I feel like if you take a chance on love, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised, but you might have to go through a few like duds before you reach the person that you're meant for, or the situation that feels like it resonates with your life a bit more. But you are resilient. Don't forget that with this turn of dragon. It says resilience. I'm sorry, I can't talk today. Um, but I feel like a lot of you are like, just feel like you're always going through the rough parts and you don't really get the good bits of relationships. Like, you just feel like it's endless. Like, you just keep having ending after ending, or you keep going through heartbreak and you just feel like maybe it's not worth it after all. But you've got this card that says take a chance on love. So I do think that that's going to be worth it. You might not get it right away, but I do think you're going to have better situations in the future. Your angel answers card says wait. So yeah, some of you, maybe this Knight of Wands is also you wanting to kind of rush into something new. You might be like a serial monogamist who just kind of jumps from relationship to relationship, or you feel like you have a hard time being alone. And this is saying just wait. I think you have a better option coming your way. And I think when things are not feeling clear, maybe that's a sign for you to just kind of hold off, wait until things clear up a little bit, and then you can move forward and see, kind of get the grounding, like get yourself grounded, get kind of a better sense of what the situation actually looks like before you end up making a decision. Your ice cream oracle card is pistachio. Emotional healing, independence, responsibility. So that emotional healing is really standing out to me because you've had like the 10 of Swords there and resilience coming up and this kind of hesitation to take a chance on love. I feel like a lot of you have been through really difficult situations in love. A lot of you might have been through rough breakups, especially over the past year if you had a lot of time together with somebody or a lot of time apart from somebody. I feel like those two extremes were really common. So maybe you're still kind of reeling from whatever situation happened recently and you're focused on your healing right now. So that might be why you need to wait before you kind of jump into something new. You have denial, detach with love to clearly see the truth. So I do think a lot of you are, like, this is kind of splitting two ways for me. A lot of you are denying yourselves of love, like you're denying love to yourselves. I'm not sure what the best grammar is in that situation. Neither one is sounding right to me, but basically you're denying your self-love in this situation. So I feel like a lot of you maybe need to nurture yourselves a little more, really care for yourselves. But I think others of you need to reject somebody who is not good for you. I think you have to detach. Even if you can love somebody from afar, you have to recognize when someone is not right for you, especially if it's like this flighty Knight of Wands character who might be good for the short term but really terrible for the long term, and you're looking for something long term. Maybe you need to kind of step back and see what they can actually offer you rather than, like, I think it's easy to project onto somebody what you want them to be, and a lot of you might be doing that. So make sure that you're detaching with love and really clearly seeing the situation for what it is and not what you hope it would be. And then you have wait, just like the Angel Answers card. The timing is not quite right. So I feel like this summer for a lot of you, you might be in kind of a waiting period, or you might be kind of getting to know someone, but you're not really able to get anything off the ground quite yet. That you maybe are just focused on healing, focused on maybe deciding that you even want to take a chance on love, but it's not yet time to really enter into something new. You have codependency, number 32. So a lot of you, I think, were in a situation where you were codependent with someone, and if you weren't actually codependent, there were some codependent traits coming up. So maybe enabling some toxic behaviors came up. With the denial card too, since it says detach with love to clearly see the truth. I think a lot of you were hanging on to somebody in the hopes that they would turn into someone that you had in your mind. Like you were seeing the best in them and you were waiting for them to turn into that best version of them, and that never came about, that they were really being the worst version of themselves, or you were just hoping that they would change and they didn't, and you were just staying very, very attached to them because of that. But this is, I think, suggesting that that's why it's time to take a step back and just wait and not jump into anything new, because I think you might have the tendency once you meet someone new that you just want to be all in right away, and this is saying wait a little bit. You don't have to be attached to someone at all times. You have I like you, so someone likes you, romance is blooming, fun flirting, want to date. So yeah, you definitely at least have one admirer. Some of you might have several admirers, but I do feel like this is kind of making me think of this Knight of Wands energy. It's not very committal. There's no like I love you or like very romantic energy. It's just flirty and fun. Like romance is blooming, and they want to date you, but it's not necessarily anything permanent or long term. And then you have Fox. So self-interest is definitely kind of popping out on this card, and just, something not quite feeling right. So I think a lot of you are maybe denying these toxic traits in someone. So whether this is someone from the past that you were hanging on to, maybe that's kind of your pattern. And then this someone new coming in, maybe there are some toxic traits and you're trying to figure out what they actually are like. And this is saying, make sure that you're being very discerning about this person, because I think they might be very crafty. They might be kind of putting on a facade, or like you might even be twisting their image in your mind because you want them to be a certain way. So I do feel like for a lot of you, that's the situation that comes up a lot, is that you twist someone to fit the image of your ideal partner, and it's not necessarily reflecting who they actually are. So this summer, I think it's very much saying, yeah, you're going to have some people coming in, but you do have to be a bit discerning to make sure that the person coming towards you is right for you. You might have to wait if it doesn't quite feel right, take a step back, but don't be afraid to take a chance on love anyway, because that's the only way that you know who is right for you, is by jumping in and seeing what's out there. But it's just saying maybe don't commit to something quite yet. And I am going to get your charms now for some more information. So let's use the heart today to figure out what's in the heart of the situation. Group 1, what are your summer love predictions? What's happening for you this summer in love? All right, so that's plenty for now. So in your heart, you have the kind of overflowing heart here. So that definitely says that you have a lot of like abundant love coming your way. But because like just what's standing out to me about this charm right now is that this heart is kind of split. So this side looks really good on the outside, but it's empty inside. And then this side is kind of plain on the outside, but there's all of this movement inside. So I feel like some of you need to be very particular about what you're seeing. You need to make sure you're seeing things clearly, because I feel like on the one hand, there's someone who seems really appealing, but isn't very honest, maybe doesn't have any substance to fill up anything, that they're just very shallow and like they look great on paper, but they're not really the person for you. And then somebody else might not seem like the right person, or might not seem like anything special, but there's so much love and like there's just all of these feelings flowing. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting. So I feel like a lot of you are going to have a couple of options this summer, and that's why it's kind of saying to wait, because I feel like somebody better is going to come in when you're not expecting it. And then you have the sweater, so that also makes me think of like imperfections and accepting imperfections and recognizing that a lot of the time something that looks very lumpy and imperfect and like kind of not as pretty on the outside can be filled with a lot more love on the inside. So that's kind of fitting with what I was thinking with that heart there. You have the heart that has like the kind of spinner in here that's like, it makes me think like, do you love me? Yes or no? But it's always pointing to yes. So I do feel like there is someone out there who loves you. And I feel like a lot of you are the type of person who, when you meet someone, if you get a crush on them, like automatically you're all in, like you love them right away. You just maybe devote too much of yourself to them. So this is kind of saying maybe take a step back in this situation, try not to get too involved before you really know who they are. You have the sun here with the kind of, I think this is a symbol of peace on the inside. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody knows more detail, but I do feel like you're going to be a lot happier and more at peace this summer, even if you don't feel like you have the right relationship at the moment. I think you're going to be a lot more content overall. You have the letter A, so that might be important for some of you. Your name might start with A, the suitor who's coming in might start with A, but I just feel like the word alone is coming to mind too. And I don't think it's like a lonely alone. I feel like it's like a really empowered and kind of excited alone, like this open opportunity of, hey, I can do everything that I want to do that I never get to do when I'm in a relationship because I'm single, that kind of energy. You have the number 21, so the 21st of one of the next few months might be significant for you. That might be when you meet someone or go on a date with someone. It could be a birthday. You could be turning 21 for some of you youngins. But yeah, that number might stand out for some of you. You have the Buddha, so that talks about enlightenment. So I think a lot of you are going to be coming to some new conclusions about love in the next few months. Like, you're going to be realizing maybe your toxic patterns, or you're going to realize what you actually want, or you'll see someone's true colors, that kind of thing. But I think you're really going to come to some great, grand realizations. You have the mixer, the kitchen mixer. So that makes me think of just having to find the right blend of ingredients to make the recipe perfect. So I feel like a lot of you maybe need to get your life more in balance and figure out what actually makes you happy. So I think a lot of you are neglecting other areas of your life in favor of romance and relationships. Maybe you're even watching a lot of romantic movies or reading a lot of like romance novels, but just like really devoting yourself to that pursuit when you could redirect that love and energy elsewhere, and it would put your life a little bit more into balance, and it would make you feel a bit more fulfilled. You have the cross here, which symbolizes protection. So I think a lot of you who are worried about love really crushing you again, that's why you got that take a chance on love card. This is saying you are protected. Nothing horrible is going to happen. Just be discerning. I think you can trust yourself. And also that could recognize that somebody might be very traditional or religious that's coming in. So that might resonate for a few of you. You have another sun here. So yeah, very sunny disposition, very happy energy, and success. So I think things are going to turn out for you, even if it's not with the person you had hoped it would be with, or not as fast as you had hoped. You have the moon, so that's uncertainty, like illusion a lot of the time. So I feel like somebody is kind of projecting something else other than what they are, especially since the mask is underneath. So I feel like if you sift through the illusion, you will find the true person underneath, and then you can make your decision once you have all the facts. So yeah, group 1, you've got quite an interesting pile here, so I hope it resonates. I would love to hear if it does, so please leave me a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day and that your summer love story turns out well, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Hi Pile 2. So if you chose the coffee dragon, which says energy, then this is your message. So we're going to start with your tarot and oracle cards and then do your charms at the end, so stay tuned for that. So let's figure out what your summer love predictions are. For your tarot, you have the Devil, 8 of Wands, and King of Wands. So with these 3 cards, that's a very like fiery energy. I know the Devil is linked with Capricorn, but the Devil is also like things that can be toxic for us, but it's indulgence, sometimes overindulgence. And with the 8 of Wands and the King of Wands, that makes me think of moving fast. So some of you might be moving very quickly with somebody this summer. You might have some like casual hookups or like more of a friends with benefits kind of situation, but I feel like there's just something very passionate and quick and fiery. But the thing about passionate and quick and fiery is that it can burn out quickly. But I do feel like a lot of you still feel in control because you have the King of Wands. That can also, if you're not feeling like that resonates with you, it could be the other person coming in is either a fire sign or has a lot of those kind of King of Wands energies of being very driven and being a visionary, can see the big picture and make it happen even if they're not planning out every step. And with the Devil, I feel like some of you might get overly attached to someone who maybe does not want the same things you do or doesn't want anything serious. So I do want to see what your oracle cards have to say, but I think it's interesting. Both piles so far have kind of really resonated with your dragon cards because the coffee dragon is energy, and there's nothing more energetic than that 8 of Wands. Wands are a very energetic suit, so I feel like you definitely have someone very energetic coming your way, very fiery, very quick moving, very passionate. So you have get to know each other, learn to meet another's need for love, number 44. So it's interesting because 4s are about stability, and number 44 I feel like is kind of an extra emphasis on being stable. So to me, that's kind of adding an additional message to this card, that if you want it to stabilize, if you want this to become something more than just quick and passionate and like one night or a few nights, something brief and short term, you're going to have to get to know each other better and learn to meet the other person's need for love, learn their love language if that's something that you know about. Really, just the two of you will both have to put in some equal amounts of effort and make sure that you're kind of building something a little more stable and not just focusing on the short term and the passion. Sorry, I'm going to move those up a little bit. There's something better. So maybe some of you have a few suitors coming in. Maybe you have someone who's very quick and passionate, but that it burns out quickly. And then you have somebody who you're going to take your time to get to know. But this is just saying, if you get hurt or if you're, just feeling disillusioned with things, don't be too concerned, because there is something better coming your way. So try not to get too caught up in one option. Your ice cream oracle card is Rainbow. Self-expression, diversity, pride. So obviously it's Pride Month if you're watching this when I post. So happy Pride, everybody. This might resonate for you in that sense. But this is also just saying being your true self, letting your true self shine, expressing yourself. Diversity also makes me think that the person who's coming in who is maybe more right for you might be outside your usual type. Like maybe this passionate person coming in is your usual type, and then you have someone more stable coming in who you wouldn't normally go for. And it could also be a little bit different, that maybe you don't usually go for this quick and passionate type, and then you're recognizing that's actually what you do want. So that's going to kind of resonate differently with everybody. You have longing. Someone is secretly yearning for you. So I think a lot of you might actually have somebody who's already into you currently, especially with that devil energy. I feel like someone is feeling very attached to you, and it might be kind of verging on the unhealthy, not necessarily in a creepy way, but it could just be somebody who's maybe over obsessing, like that the thought of you is spiraling around in their brain over and over and over, and they just feel like they can't get away from you. With that kind of yearning energy. But this could also just mean once you meet somebody, you'll be yearning and longing for them. They'll be yearning and longing for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be unhealthy, but it's that kind of early stage of missing somebody and aching when they're not around, and that kind of energy. So I do feel like whoever you meet this summer or end up kind of interacting with this summer, there might be that kind of energy of just yearning and longing, but not as much action to back it up. Just when you're kind of stuck in the fantasy of things and wondering if they're thinking about you and wishing you could talk to them and that kind of thing. I feel like that energy is going to come up. You have heartbreak, number 43. So a lot of you might have been heartbroken recently, or you might be kind of going through a heartbreak currently or soon, coming up. So again, like if this is a short-term thing and you're wanting something long-term, just be very particular about it, be discerning, and see if you two are on the same page. But I feel like this heartbreak is not going to be something permanent. Like it's not something that's going to shatter you forever. It might be painful, but I do feel like for a lot of you, this is going to be a more mild heartbreak. I don't see this being something that's going to just destroy your world. I feel like because of this being this Eight of Wands energy of quick and fiery but burning out quickly, there's going to be that sting at the end, but not necessarily a permanent, the rug being pulled out from under you and feeling like you need to rebuild your life. It's not like that. This is more of that kind of, because you've got longing too, I feel like it's almost that pleasant heartbreak. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else, but kind of that, that delicious ache when you want somebody you can't have, and you kind of indulge in missing them even though you can't have them. For a lot of people who have a hard time getting into a committed relationship with people, I feel like it's easy to go for someone emotionally unavailable because that they're unavailable, and so it's easier to just indulge in that fantasy because it's not necessarily going to be shattered by reality because you don't give it that chance. I hope that makes sense to people. I'm hoping I'm explaining that right. But you also have maturity, number 6. So yeah, I think that you have someone mature coming your way, especially if you're stuck on kind of this, maybe this toxic energy. With the Devil, maybe this King of Wands is the mature energy. Maybe you still have something passionate and fiery, but it's a little more stable. You know, you can actually get to know this person. You don't feel like you're stuck in something toxic that's just going to break your heart. You know, maybe this is the person who's like longing and yearning for you as someone where you just have to give the relationship a little more time to grow as well. But I think that they as a person are much more mature. They're not going to kind of jerk you around or just like play with your heart. You know, that they're actually going to follow through on their word. Even if they don't necessarily have a distinct plan on how to do that, they are going to do whatever it takes to make it happen. You have secrecy, an affair, hiding something, use discretion, surprise, collaborate, protecting, denying, risk. So I think that there is somebody out there who's got kind of a secret crush on you at the very least. You might also have a secret crush on somebody else, but somebody here, like because you have secrecy and then you have someone is secretly yearning for you in that longing card, I do think that there is a situation where someone's longing or yearning for you and isn't saying anything. So I think that there is a chance that you two could make something happen, but someone's got to make that move, or you at least have to get to know each other to build something stable out of this. And then you have a couple more cards here. So you have the Princess of Earth, which is Virgo. So this also has like a time frame here. So a year or more from now, during the summer, which is obviously what we're talking about, and then August 22nd through September 21st. So that time period might resonate for you. That's Virgo season. One of you might be a Virgo, but Virgo is also very analytical. This corresponds with the Hermit card, so that has to do with like looking within, being alone, obviously, but I feel like more than the Hermit card energy, I'm getting like personality traits for someone, or that time period if that personality trait does not resonate for you. And then you have Winter, waning crescent. So this is very detached energy. It's kind of cold. There might be like celebration and holiday energy as well, but I feel like it more has to do with that going within, because you do have the Hermit here too. So I feel like there's this secrecy. There's someone who's very much in their head, just kind of focused on themselves, but thinking about other things, but they're just doing it very internally. They're not expressing it outwardly. So some of you might even not really be expressing who you truly are, or you're just holding back from expressing yourself to somebody that you care about or that you have a crush on. But I do feel like this is something that's going to shift later on. But with that Virgo energy too, Earth energy is very slow moving, but Earth energy is also very stable. It's very successful when it builds on itself. So with that and the maturity and get to know each other, there is this potential for something long-term to grow from here. But I want to get your charms now, group 2, for some more information. So we're going to use the heart today to get to the heart of the situation. So group 2, what is happening for you this summer in love? So you got quite a few charms here. So in the heart, you have the skull. So I do feel like that has to do with something from your past, maybe coming up to kind of haunt you a little bit, something you haven't quite gotten over, or something that you just have to kind of leave to die on its own, because I feel like a lot of the time it's easy to just keep investing in something that's not giving back what we're putting into it. So I feel like a lot of you might need to end one cycle in order to move into another one. So let's move that down here. You have the 2 swans, so that's soulmate energy. So I do feel like you have the potential for a soulmate to come in. You have the car, so that's chariot energy, overcoming obstacles, moving forward, quick movement, like that 8 of Wands is talking about. You have faith, so keep the faith alive that somebody great is coming towards you. You have the peace sign, so I think a more peaceful time is coming, and maybe this person is like a peacemaker or very calm, like doesn't have a fiery temper or any kind of toxic behaviors that really shake things up. You know, it might even seem a bit boring to some of you, because I think when you find somebody stable who's mature, a lot of the time it seems boring if you're used to really toxic, volatile relationships. You have the spider, so that talks about creating the life that you want to live, you know, weaving the web of like what you want your life to look like. And when I was saying weaving the web, I was thinking of like a web of lies. So I think a lot of you have been manipulated by someone in the past. Like I feel like that devil energy, someone is trying to keep you stuck by kind of like weaving lies around you, or like saying things that make you second guess your intuition, stuff like that. So that might resonate with some of you. You have the fairy door, so that talks about new opportunity coming in, but you have to be willing to open the door and jump into something that you're not certain is going to be good, but it looks good. You know, you just aren't, you're not sure if you really want to enter there. But with Fairy Kingdom as well, once you kind of go in, there's not really any going back from that. So I do feel like there's this significant kind of milestone coming up for you, that something happening this summer is going to change your life forever, even if it's not like a relationship that lasts forever. But I feel like there's going to be some really great lessons that you're learning, or like just something in your life is going to shift in a really positive way. You have night energy, so that also makes me think of Wands energy as well, but night energy is movement. So I do think that things are going to be moving for you this summer quite quickly based on the Eight of Wands. You have the moon, so not everything is clear to you, especially with that devil card. I feel like sometimes the devil is very deceptive, and it's easy to be manipulated by that energy. It doesn't necessarily express like what's actually behind it. You know, you can't always see through it until you're already in too deep. You have Pisces energy here, which also says intuitive. So yeah, that was right under the moon as well. So I do think a lot of you need to make sure that you're listening to your intuition, because I think if you quiet your mind, you can access your intuition, and that's going to be very accurate for you. And I think a lot of you are going to have to listen to that over like the facade that you're seeing in front of you, in order to see like what the truth actually is. You have the bird that's flying here, so that represents communication coming your way. I just flung it onto the tray. But yeah, that's communication coming in. So I think especially if you've been like texting with somebody, or you're waiting for someone to reach out to you, that's going to happen. You have the rooster here too that's crowing, so a lot of the time that represents very loud and obnoxious communication. So just something even that's kind of shocking, it comes out of nowhere. It just makes me think of getting startled awake by that rooster crowing. So I think a lot of you are going to get kind of startled or very, very surprised by communication that's coming your way. You have the little innocent bunny here, so that does make me think of innocence, sometimes childhood as well, but it just represents someone who is very, like maybe naive, but also very cute. Somebody might think that you're really cute, and someone might be younger than you as well. We have Totoro as well, which makes me think of like childhood and innocence, and like protecting your innocence as well. So I do feel like a lot of you are kind of either you're kind of stunting your own maturity and growth, that you're really wanting to hang on to things from your past that you know you've outgrown, or again, it could be somebody younger than you, somebody less mature than you, that there is a little bit of an age difference. And I do think that there's this growth and kind of coming of age energy that's coming through. You have the squirrel here, so that talks about your investments paying off. So if you really do put in the work, it's going to pay off for you. You have the egg cup, so that talks about just not letting difficult situations get you down to the point that you're hardening yourself so that you can't experience anything good in the future. You have the back bend, so I feel like a lot of you do have the tendency to kind of bend over backwards for people who would not do the same for you. So just make sure that you are taking care of yourself and that you're not overextending yourself for someone else. You have the whirlpool here, which represents a whirlpool of emotion, just being overwhelmed and kind of feeling like you're getting sucked into something. So that's that devil energy. And it's also kind of mimicking the imagery on the Eight of Wands. So you can kind of see that's both very much this swirling energy that's just often very overwhelming, but it's very fast moving. You don't even know that you're getting sucked in until you're already in there. You have the axe here, so that makes me think of just cutting out what doesn't work for you. So even if it seems drastic, sometimes it's required to cut out the people who did not serve you anymore, cut out the behaviors that don't serve you anymore. But I think that a lot of you are needing to stand up for yourself and do something kind of drastic, because it's been a long time coming. Whoops. This one's so tiny, I almost dropped it. So you have the ladybug. So that represents good luck, happiness and joy. So I think a lot of you have some really great luck coming your way, especially in relationships, but I think in other areas of your life as well. And I think that good luck and positivity is going to bleed into your relationships as well. So, group 2, I hope that this resonates. I would love to hear if it does, so please leave me a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Hi, group 3. So if you chose the Strawberry Dragon, which says celebration, then this is your message. So we are going to start with your tarot and oracle cards and then do your charms at the end, so stay tuned for that. So let's figure out what's happening for you this summer in love. For your tarot, you have the Three of Pentacles, Three of Wands, and the Knight of Swords. So I feel like, the Knight of Swords is a court card, so that's definitely somebody who might be coming towards you this summer. So the Knight of Swords can often be very impulsive. He's very fast moving. Obviously he's determined, because you can see that look of determination on his face. But the Knight of Swords can often be a bit too rash and risky oftentimes, because he's doing things so quickly he doesn't give himself a chance to think about it. So I'm just getting the energy. This could be a person coming towards you, and it could also be you going towards somebody else, because with the Three of Wands, that makes me feel like somebody's been kind of waiting, like they've been hoping for maybe a relationship to come into their life, or they've been trying to manifest it, or they've kind of put themselves out there and maybe asked somebody out, but now they're waiting for the results to come in. So that's why with the Knight of Swords, I feel like maybe whoever is taking on this knight energy is going to come rushing in, because either they've been waiting so long, or that's what this person in the Three of Wands is waiting for. And with the Three of Pentacles, that makes me feel like either you two would work very well together, that you'd be like a very good team, or maybe you met at work or school, because the Three of Pentacles has to do with that kind of sense of teamwork, but also like just in a career sense, financial sense, educational sense. Like it's something very kind of career oriented, so I kind of group like jobs and school in that category together. But I want to see what your oracle cards have to say, because this is a little bit less of a specific situation than the first two groups, so I kind of want to get some more detail. So you have simple acts of kindness. Kindness energizes you and brings happiness to those around you, number 5. So, I'm kind of getting acts of kindness from this particular Three of Pentacles as well, because I feel like in this one, it's almost like somebody is a mentor for somebody else. Like they're teaching them, they're kind of guiding them through a process, guiding them to, like, I'm almost getting like a training idea too. So I feel like for some of you with new jobs, this could be like a trainer that you've been like spending time around a lot. And it could also be, if you're in school, maybe somebody who's a grade above you, or someone who maybe knows more than you in this case, or somebody who's been helping you with your work. So maybe that's the act of kindness that's coming up, is somebody's kind of gone above and beyond to help the other person with like work or school. But this also could just mean that those acts of kindness are kind of what's bringing you together. Like it's a good idea to be kind towards this person, and then maybe that's kind of how something starts, is somebody's just doing really kind things for you, and maybe it gets you questioning and wondering, like, why are they doing that? Is it, are they just being nice, or are they into me? And it just kind of gets like the gears turning in your head. You have opportunity, so you definitely have a lot of opportunity for love this summer, because look at all of this raining down on her. There's no end to the opportunity. So this could also be like a variety of different people coming in. You could have a Knight of Swords. You could have someone who's been waiting and longing for you. You could have someone at work. That could be like a whole variety of people who are potentially there for you. But I do feel like you're not going to have a shortage of love. And even if it's not romantic relationships, I think you're just going to feel really good with whatever is coming to you this summer. And then you have remain positive. So I do think, again, whatever is coming to you this summer is going to be great. It's going to be worthy of celebration because you do have that celebration card. So I do feel like there's a lot of really great energy here. And this is also saying that remaining positive is going to bring you the relationship you desire, especially with simple acts of kindness. I think just focusing on things that you can do for other people and then being grateful for the kind things that other people do for you. That's going to bring more of that loving energy towards you. For your ice cream oracle cards, you have charcoal licorice, innovation, invention, revolution. So, I mean, I just keep kind of looking at this Three of Pentacles. So I feel like for some of you, this might be somebody who is like showing you how to do things a little bit differently, or you came in and kind of shook up like the work environment or the school environment by doing things a little bit differently than everyone who's come before you. And that's maybe what kind of drew this person's attention to you, or vice versa. And then you also have tiger ice cream, strength, dignity, and majesty. So, I mean, I just am getting this sense that whoever you're into has got this like very charismatic energy around them, that they come across as very powerful, but very sure of themselves. And if that's not resonating, that you're not into somebody like that, or you're not seeing them that way, I feel like that's their perspective on you. Because keep in mind that the energies can be kind of interchangeable; they can go vice versa. But I do feel like there's this very majestic person who's just very confident and sure of themselves, but also very giving and kind. But it's a very like kingly energy, like very much emperor energy, but a little bit of like, I guess, King of Wands as well. That very like powerful and like dignified, but also just very charismatic, like a visionary, someone who's just very, I keep saying the word very, but I wish that you could see the gestures I'm making, but just very sure of themselves. Like I'm picturing like chest kind of puffed out, and not in like an insecure way or somebody trying to puff up, but just very confident, self-assured, like ready to kind of take on whatever the challenge is that they're facing. It's that kind of energy. You have go slow, take time to get to know each other. So especially for new relationships, that's often a good idea, especially if you want it to last long. But I feel like in this case, maybe if you met them at work or school, it's a good idea to kind of take things slow so that you're not shaking up the dynamic that you already have with this person. But Pentacles are also by nature a very slow going suit. And I feel like it might be a little bit difficult to go slow with this person because we have that Knight of Swords, and Knight of Swords just wants to jump in and impulsively like go the whole distance right away. So I do feel like it might be a bit of a challenge to go slow, but I think going slow is going to ensure something more long lasting. It's not going to burn up immediately and then just fizzle out. You have guarded, number 10. So I think a lot of you are probably feeling rather guarded. Probably, negative relationships from the past or negative past experiences. And if you are not feeling guarded, I think that this person is probably very guarded, especially because I'm seeing this shield that's a very similar shape as this shield on the Knight of Swords here. So I feel like a lot of you might be dealing with somebody who really struggles to be vulnerable and struggles to open up, struggles to really move towards a relationship, or struggles to want a relationship, that they might be very independent, and then when they decide that they want something, they just go for it before they even can think about it because they know that they'll talk themselves out of it. And I think that's why go slow is there too, because I feel like they're one that's very can be impulsive when it comes to relationships, just because they know that they won't go for it if they don't just do it right away. So I think just, being kind to each other, starting things as more friends, and then gradually increasing things might make them a little bit more comfortable with the progress that you're making towards a relationship, and that it's not going to overwhelm them and make them want to bail right away. And then you have healing, number 30. So again, I feel like this person might be healing. I think that might help them heal, to just take things slow so that it gives them time to heal, that they're not going to be bailing every time that they have something come up, like old traumas or like triggers for them. It's not going to make them want to run away if things are going more slowly, so that they can kind of handle things as they come up. It's not just going to be like an influx of difficult emotions all at once. And then also, I feel like if you are healing from a past relationship, I think that's a good thing. Another good reason to go slow is I think it's better to go slowly so that you have that time to heal and to make sure that you're fully healed before you really enter into a new relationship, because I do think jumping from relationship to relationship can often be tempting, but it's really difficult when you haven't fully healed from a past relationship, because then you're bringing all that past baggage into something in the future, even if it has nothing to do with that person. You have the real deal. They see your light, a total keeper, genuine, compatible, authentic, healthy, a good choice. So yeah, I think going slowly is going to help you recognize how good of a, how compatible you are, how good of a person this might be, how good of a relationship you could have. And I think that it'll help both of you be confident in that, because I think it makes it a lot more, like, when you have that grounded energy, then you're not going to be second guessing it so much, because you've been taking it so slowly that you can slowly build up trust, versus if you just jump in immediately, there are so many things you can look back on and second guess. But if you're going slowly, you're analyzing it as you go so that you can kind of get that out of the way and you're not sabotaging it as you go. And then finally, you have child. So beginnings is obviously standing out. Innocence is kind of making me think that I feel like whoever you're interacting with does not have negative intentions. So even if negative things come up, I don't think that it's necessarily going to be intentional. I think that they are a very good choice, but it can often be difficult if you're not fully healed. Sometimes those triggers bring out the worst in us, And then the person that you're dealing with might be inexperienced, or you might feel very inexperienced. But overall, I think the brand new in beginnings is really coming to mind, that I think this new beginning can really go somewhere. And also seeing the word spontaneous makes me think this person is maybe a very spontaneous person, because I think they've talked themselves out of so many situations that they have to be spontaneous or they'll do nothing new. They'll get nothing done. They won't interact with new people or anything, that they just have to kind of jump in a little bit more impulsively, be a bit more carefree in order to actually experience the things that they're wanting to go after. Also, this might mean that one or both of you has a child that's affecting this situation, and that might be another reason that it's a good idea to kind of take things a bit more slowly. So I am going to get your charms now for some more information. So we're going to use the heart today to figure out what's in the heart of the situation. So group 3, what is coming for you this summer in love? Alright, so nothing landed in the heart. I believe something landed in the heart initially and then kind of popped out, but I wasn't watching what was landing in there. So let's flip some of these over and see what's going on. You do have the number 5 here, so that might be a significant date or a number, like especially if one or both of you have kids. I feel like some of you have a 5-year-old that's involved, and that might be why you're trying to take things slowly, is because especially when they're that young, you don't want to kind of shake up their entire world with a new person. But I think for a lot of you, maybe it's like, 5 months, 5 weeks, 5 years. That might be significant for a lot of you, but otherwise the 5th of a month or May might have been significant. Maybe you met this person in May, so this is someone that you're going to build something with. When is the word that's popping up, so I do feel like a lot of you are maybe wondering when you're going to meet this person, or when they're going to come in, when they're going to communicate, because that 3 of Wands is like that waiting game, waiting for your ships to come in, basically. So I feel like a lot of you are sitting around wondering when. So try to distract yourself, not focus too much on it, because I think sometimes that kind of strangles the energy and makes it so, like I always think a watched pot never boils, that cliche. But I do feel like it's true. It feels longer, even if it doesn't take longer. When you're just watching it and waiting, it feels like it's taking longer. So distract yourself. I think the time's going to go by faster, and then you're not just spending so much time overthinking it. You also have always. So I do think that this is somebody who will always be there for you. who's always willing to help you, who's willing to compromise. That's kind of another energy that's coming up with that. I'm getting really good vibes from this. And you have the Ace of Cups here too, so that's, overflowing energy, renewal. So some of you, this might be someone from the past, but that's not going to resonate with everybody. But I feel like for some of you, this is someone you haven't gotten it off the ground with, like you haven't gotten a relationship off the ground yet, and you're just finally kind of coming around to, okay, this is solid, let's move this forward, let's not kind of sit in this limbo phase anymore. With the bow, that talks about things being better than you expected, or trying to dress it up to look a little bit better than you initially anticipated, or getting an additional surprise as well as what you initially thought it would be. You're getting something extra on top of it. With the palm tree, that talks about just taking a break, relaxing, maybe taking a vacation with this person, because you do have the Arc de Triomphe as well. So some of you might be traveling with them, but the Arc de Triomphe is also about triumph. It's about success. It's about things working out well. And you have the genie lamp, so that has to do with wishes coming true, making a wish. Some of you, I think, have tried to manifest this person. And I think that this Charlie Brown is saying to be a bit optimistic. Some of you might usually be cynical, or this person might be cynical, and you're kind of doubting that things might turn out, but being optimistic is going to turn out better for you. It's going to make things easier for you. The teapot has to do with like getting together. It always makes me think of getting together with friends and like spilling the tea, kind of gossiping. So maybe friends might be able to provide some perspective on this situation. But this also makes me think of just kind of getting together with this person as friends, getting to know what's going on in each other's lives, and just having that kind of catch-up talk before you start engaging in anything else. You have the Om symbol, so that just talks about kind of centering yourself, making sure that you're not being impulsive or jumping into things, really centering yourself and making sure that the actions that you are partaking in are going to resonate with your most authentic self. You have the wave here, so that makes me think of like riding the wave, making sure that you are kind of flowing with the ebb and flow of your life, not trying to control things too much, and also recognizing that some emotional waves might be coming in. So if you're feeling very like drained, make sure you're resting. You might be getting like waves of healing coming in, waves of difficult emotions coming up. With the arrow, that has to do with focus and making sure that you kind of make a choice based on what you want to focus on, and not just making a choice because it's there, but actually picking a direction and going with it. And because this particular arrow has like a double arrow, right now I'm thinking of like double clicking, like on the computer. If you double click on something, that opens it or starts it or whatever. And I feel like this is almost saying in order to choose something, you might have to choose it twice. So that's kind of extra emphasis for those of you who have somebody coming back in that you've known before that you couldn't get things off the ground with. It's like choosing them twice is kind of showing that you want them even more than just someone that you're like, okay, yeah, they're fine. This is like a certainty is accompanying this. And then you have the Christmas tree. So that's a symbol of winter and of holidays as well. So again, a celebration with this person. So for some of you, maybe you saw them last time at Christmas, or you wanted to celebrate the holidays with them, but this also could just mean you met them then, or that at Christmas something new is going to happen. So maybe you'll have something extra to celebrate at Christmas. Some of you might have like a winter or Christmas birthday. But I think overall that also makes me think of just more gifts than you had expected are coming in. So I feel like, on Christmas Eve, presents magically appear under the tree. So that's making me think of like extra things coming in, like kind of to go with this bow as well. This person having a lot more traits to them than you initially anticipated that you really like, or, things are better than you expected, or just that energy of things being better than you expected or better than you had hoped for, that you couldn't have expected things to turn out so well. So I do feel like for most of you, this is going to turn out very well, like much better than you expected. So just try not to control things, because I think taking it slowly, things are going to turn out in your favor, and a lot better than you had initially anticipated. So group 3, I hope that this resonated. I would love to hear if it does, so please leave me a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day and that your summer is awesome, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.